Hi there, welcome to the Retro Desk. I'm Matt Heffernan, and today we have hand modeling, which of course really means unboxing. So let's get it. Ooh, it's an L. It's a giant L. How about that? All right, so you might recognize what this is. This is a MacBook Air, nice thin profile, modern laptop. So this is another one of my birthday presents. Of course, so one was the old Mac, and this one is the new Mac with subsidized by some funds that I received for my birthday / Father's Day. So let's just get to unboxing it here. We got a couple little strips here on the bottom. There we go. Okay, so this little tab lifts the actual unit off. So let's carefully pull off all of this. All right, so this is the color they call Midnight. So very sleek. So let's take a little quick port check of what we got going here. So on this side, look at this, 3.5mm audio jack. That's it on this side. You can't get it on an iPhone, but you can get it on a brand new MacBook. And then over here, we have that MagSafe power supply connection. So it's got 5 little contacts there, and then 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. And, of course, these are just giant cloacas of data, and all manner of signals can come out of here. So, obviously we'll be using peripherals, and we'll be attaching maybe some external storage. We'll see what we got. But here, let's take a look at what else is in the box. Designed by Apple in California. Very, very fancy. All right. So here is the power cable. It comes with all of this fun cardboard that surrounds it. There we go. So you can see here the power cable is just the same USB-C form factor as Thunderbolt on one end, and then that MagSafe power on the other. And then in here, what do we have? Ooh, look, documentation. So, yeah, we got our getting started guide. Oh, look at this. Welcome to your MacBook Air. It automatically starts up when you lift the lid. Oh boy. So there you go. MagSafe 3, Thunderbolt 4 headphone. Look, you don't even need me at all. You can just read this. What else comes in this little pocket? This part is thick. Is that it? Is it just a really thick envelope? I think it's just a really thick envelope. So we're going to keep these safely in here. All right. We tuck our cardboard in there. And then over here we have our little power block. So it is incredibly compact. Just this little wall wart guy with foldable blades here for our North American power grid. And then we got 2 Thunderbolt USB-C form factor ports on there. So one to power the Mac, and the other to, I don't know, power something else. Maybe a cell phone. So there we go. That's it. So, of course, this guy is going to pop into one of those. And then that's it. The rest of this is all just excess packaging. They promised this would just start up when I opened it. Is that going to be the case? How much juice did they put on these guys? Oh, look at that Okay. So, all right. Oh, we peel this. It's not quite as satisfying as clear plastic, but it is pretty nice. Well, hello. Okay, I don't speak these other languages. Oi, hoi. Oh, there we go. Look at all those choices. All right, so we're going to be doing our friend's English. All right, so we got a pretty decent amount of battery juice on there out of the box, so that's pretty good. All right, still connecting. Software update. All right, so it's gonna right out of the box update me to macOS Sequoia 15.5. So while that starts, just because I am paranoid, I am going to go ahead and connect this to power. All right. There we go. Man, gotta wait a whole 2 minutes to download 6 gigs. Very disappointing. All right, so while we're waiting for that to update, let's do a little comparison here with the keyboard on the new Mac and the old Mac. One thing that's definitely different from Macs of old is that the arrow keys are in a sensible place. They're not in a weird row. But we've got our 12 function keys. We still have a delete key where backspace would be. We got an actual escape key, which is something new, relatively speaking. And then we've got the world key, control, option, command, just like back in the day. But yeah, so the escape key up here, and we got secondary command and option buttons down here, and then all the standard stuff. So let's take a look here at what we had with the Mac SE. So we can see that this row is still the same from tilde to delete. But now, of course, we've got the function keys on top and the escape key on top, instead of the escape key over here. And of course, those crazy arrow keys off to the side. But yeah, the tab, caps lock, shift with the control, option, command. No more open Apple, just the command. And of course, this new function key. So looks like that is to override, just like on most modern computers, you have the function keys for some sort of built-in shortcuts here, or you can hold down function and actually get the F1, etc. Keys to get pressed. And then we've got up here a little fingerprint reader. So that'll be nice for security. And yeah, then otherwise down here, yeah, all of the key arrangements are still basically the same here, 30 some years later. So I mean, it's remarkable consistency considering all the changes that have happened. Of course, this being a MacBook Air, it does not have a numerical keypad on there. In fact, it doesn't even have a numlock option. So if you did have to, for some reason, bought a computer like this to do a lot of data entry, that's something that you would need a external numpad to do. But of course, we had that on here, so I'll do all my data entry on the Mac SE. We finished downloading, but we've got 30 minutes of waiting to upgrade the OS. So meanwhile, one of the nicest features of a modern Mac is the massive touchpad that you get here. And compare that in size to the original Mac SE mouse. It's quite a bit larger, and you can see the It comes one big button and a much bigger one big button than the old one big button, and of course no little ball to deal with. Of course, the first MacBooks did have trackballs on them. That's that has not been standard in quite some time. We're done installing the OS. We're still in the United States. We're just going to set this up as new. Don't need accessibility. Got to connect back to the Wi-Fi again. All right. Now I've got to create my Mac account. Okay, so I have an Apple account. This is just going to be my Mac account. We'll have to get this set up here. I will make the password the same. Now I've got my old Apple account. So much to agree to. I haven't come across the human centipede part yet. All right. You can only use the same password for both your iCloud account and your user account. Apple Intelligence. All right, well, let's see what's going on with Apple Intelligence. So, of course, we got Siri. Siri, how's the weather? Siri, play some music. Okay. Oh, let's hear the voices of Siri.
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as the stars begin to shine through the clear night.
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as the stars begin to...
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun.
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as
Classic
the stars
Siri.
begin to shine through the clear night.
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as the stars begin to shine through the clear night. The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as the stars begin to...
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun. The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun as the stars begin to shine
nice.
through the clear night.
I think that's most NPR one. We'll go with that. Okay. All right, so here. We're going to be dark mode. Yeah, we'll let it do the automatic thing. Might as well. Just surrender myself to Apple. And there it is. All right. So I think what we're going to do now is get some screen capture working on this, and we'll go into the device itself. Okay, so doing the screen recording on the Mac, I had to look up how to do that. And what I did not look up was our is audio recordings turned on by default. So that didn't happen. But anyway, once I got that turned on here, I went into GitHub and copied the URL for the Mandelbrot repo, and then I had to kind of remember how things worked on the Mac, and now I need to get the terminal up. So how do you do that? Well, that's not a normal thing on the Mac. Only the folks that truly understand the power of Unix underlying the Mac operating system know that, yes, under all of this fanciness, there is a Unix prompt. And so I got that. And so now I'm going to try and get the Git repo on there. So I'm creating my own little workspace directory on there. And it's like, do I have Git? Yep, I've got Git. So one would think if I have Git, I should just be able to clone a public repo without any difficulty. And no. You don't. You need to have the developer tools installed in order to do that. So I just went ahead and actually downloaded Git. But first, I wanted to see, maybe I can just get it from Homebrew. And no, I do not have Homebrew. So now I got to go and get Homebrew installed. So got to look that up. Let's get Homebrew installed on a fresh Mac. And now there's our crazy remote script execution, which seems not exactly secure, but you know, you gotta trust these folks. They're the homebrew people. So there we go. Now we're installing Homebrew, and it's going to install the Xcode command line tools along with it, and that should enable me to use Git finally. And then, now I just got to agree to everything. I might have had that, hey, do you agree to do this up there before and didn't notice? But at any rate, nothing was exactly, can't install the software, doesn't matter, we're installing in another way. So it's not exactly a clean process, but once we get things actually installed, we've got Homebrew installed. All right, let's try one more time to get into that. So there we go. Got the Git repo. So we're going to CD into that. And there's everything. Now, I'm just checking here to see, well, do I use Z shell? Do I use bash? Just kind of farting around there. And then it's like, what do I do to get the path set correctly? Because Homebrew's still not showing up. So now I've learned that the paths are in etc path here on the Mac OS. Every Unix, Linux variant has its own little peculiarities. So this is where we store it here. So I have to make the opt homebrew bin on my path and then open up a new terminal. And now I'm going to look up the homebrew package for the C image library, which on any Linux installation is the only library I need to install. It'll get the dependencies automatically if I'm using, say, apt for package retrieval. But we're going to see here that I can get the homebrew for C image, but it just gets C image. It doesn't install really any dependencies. So I try to run the build script and it's failing because it can't find the xlib header file. So that means I need to go find where to get that for the Mac. And the answer to that, which I eventually found, was Xquartz. So now Xquartz is another thing I can install with Homebrew. So we're going to get that in there. And now that's going to get us all of the X11 libraries we need. But it doesn't work out of the gate. I've got to go ahead and change up my build script. So I have a special build script now just for Mac where I have to explicitly put in the -i arguments to specify the location of the X11. The include file, just doing the -l X11 is not enough, apparently. And so now I should have all the header files set up, and I'll try to build again. But now we're not linking because we don't actually know where that X11 library is. So now I need to add the path to the library to the build statement. So yeah, a lot of extra stuff needs to be put on to the G++ parameters to make sure everything's going to compile and link. And once I do that, then we just get these warnings about C-image that I don't believe are going to be relevant to what we're doing. We're not trying to create any sort of infinite or complex matrices in anything. So it's not going to affect us at all. So now we got everything built, and now we're going to just run it, tee it off to this log file, and there now we can see It did all of the Speccy and EGA ones real quick. And now we're seeing the 4K ones come in, and they're coming in very fast too. This is definitely faster than anything that we've seen. Everything else has been over 11 seconds, so we're almost like twice as fast as anything else, just with one core. Now we can see things getting really fast as we pile the cores on. And now this is a 10-core processor, so we expect things to peak by 12, but now we can see it's peaking past there. So really around 16 is where we hit peak performance. So not just the Apple Silicon, but the Apple operating system providing some nice synergy there. So now I'll take a look, and there's the 4K plot that we last built, and that's it. So now we're going to go and look at the results in the spreadsheets. So here's the spreadsheet for the Mac, the new Mac, and we can see here some very fast speeds for the Speccy. And all right, we'll get these colors looking a little better here now. Okay, so we can see here that the power on the Speccy plot, now it's a very trivial plot. It actually didn't peak where we would have expected, like between 8 and 12. It actually peaked at 6, so it looks like we're just adding a lot of overhead for these very trivial computation tasks with the Speccy one. So then moving up to the EGA, we can see that we really peak very early, and I think this also kind of shows that the EGA plot is not sufficiently complex to be non-trivial for this M4 silicon. It's really pretty impressive that we don't really get much more beyond the 2 cores, any real performance boost. But where we really see things interesting are here. Once we do the 4K plot, now we're giving this processor something to chew on, and we can see that power, as we saw before while it was running, just get faster and faster and really peak up here once we get to here 32 threads. 32 threads is our peak performance, which is kind of crazy. Right? And we can see that it is significantly faster than 12, where we kind of would expect things to level out more than they do. But no, we get definitely some bonus from the software assist of the operating system. So pretty impressive. Now let's take a look at these older systems. So my previous laptop, here's where we were at with the 4K, is we were getting at our peak here. This was, of course, this is 6 cores, hyper-threaded, and our peak performance was also, in this case, at 32. But that peak performance at 32 threads was 2.8 million pixels per second versus the Mac, which got us over 7 million pixels per second. So yeah, that's more than twice as fast. It's it's really kind of incredible how much faster. Now, if we look at this Windows machine, the little mini one we just put together at 4K, remember we had that weird dip in there, and he ended up maxing not at 32, it looks like actually at 64 threads. right? Is it at 64? No, that's right. No, it actually peaked at 128. So we might not have even seen the peak performance. And that was a 2.43 million pixels per second. So just a little slower than the older laptop, but again, that was a 8th gen i7 versus an 11th gen i3. But definitely the Mac M4 is blowing them both away. Now, more of an apples to apples, maybe, like giant apples to miniature crab apples, would be the Raspberry Pi. And asking that guy to do a 4K plot is a lot. And let's see, so for the Raspberry Pi running Raspbian, I think we peaked right here, right? Yeah, at 24 threads and at 1.17. So compare that to its big brother, the Mac, over 7. So yeah, we're like four to five times. I can't math right now, but definitely a lot faster than the Mac by I'd say a factor of 5 would be fair. So let's say it's a factor of 5. Well, the Mac costs $1,000 and the Raspberry Pi costs $50. So for 5 times the performance, you're paying 20 times as much. Now, maybe that's not a fair quantification, but it still shows, I think, when you're talking like pound for pound, quite literally how much you're paying for your compute power. The Raspberry Pi is really, it's hard to beat on that front. It's just a lot of compute for a very small price. But I'd say now these Macs, if you're buying like the MacBook Air like this one, it's going to be a really good value. And that's what I found looking at the current crop of Wintel machines. They're just, they've become overpriced enough that it makes sense to buy a cheaper Mac over a more expensive, very, very comparable Windows, Intel / AMD type machine. Or a lot of these new Windows machines are actually running Snapdragon, so that it looks like there is a push on the Windows side to move more in an ARM direction, but those are really glorified phone CPUs. They're not a desktop, power user grade performance like you get with the current generation of Macs. So yeah, I didn't think I'd buy another Mac, but here I am. And I've got 2 Macs now, an old Mac and a new Mac, and the new Mac is going to be doing a lot of stuff around here. All right, so I hope you found that interesting. I think it's really cool to see a lot of these direct comparisons between modern systems and 8-bit and 16-bit systems. I think it really helps us appreciate what we have these days. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if you liked this video and want to see more stuff like this, the best way to see more is, of course, to like, comment, and subscribe. Let YouTube know that this is the kind of content that you want to see, and you click that bell and you'll be notified of when my next video comes out. But if you want, of course, support me more, you got the join button right there, or you can join our Patreon community and be able to see all of my videos ad-free, whether you are a member or the patron on Patreon, like the folks you see here. You get to see all my videos before they come out to general public, and they will be ad-free. And so I think that's a pretty good deal. So that's it. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.